Thank you, Arun, firstly. And second, I think like we have taken some attempt at trying to do the fire conversion as well, but that's still work in progress. So happy to like get help from the community to build that out further and make it more robust over a period of time. So in terms of beta adopters, we did reach out to a few organizations who were at different stages of PPDM integration, and these are just a few snippets of what they had to say. I'll not cover it in a lot more detail, but essentially the summary of it being it reduced their integration time, it cut down the time required for implementation and understanding what the changes they need to make in their system was much more simpler with the wrapper as compared to like earlier. And what we also realize is ABDM integration, there are two parts to it. One is like where developers are maybe probably smart enough and uh, are fully aware of the business use cases and all of that, but there is also a segment where they need some sort of handholding and support. So I think the idea to build a community is also to get people in the community to help out people who are not able to understand the exact context and help them provide some support so that their integration time is also reduced over a period of time. Yeah, so I think like we collaborated with Khushi Baby and Telehealth, Chemist Mitra and HealLink as some of the initial adopters. So HealLink is an HMI solution, Khushi Baby is a government health worker application, and Telehealth is more of a telemedicine solution. And Chemist Mitra is more of an HIV pharmacy kind of solution. They tried to pick a wide variety as well so that we're able to cater to each and every kind of use case as well. So now coming back, like what does ABDM integration mean, right? So just trying to summarize after we have covered after Arun covered like how does the integration process look like? So there are two entities primarily. One is the facility which is trying to onboard ABDM, and second is a software provider who's trying to enable them onto ABDM. So for a ABDM for a facility or a healthcare facility primarily, all they have to do is use an ABDM compatible HMIS, do patient registration with ABA, ensure that they're entering their complaints, diagnosis, and treatments in HMIS, and this will ensure that the health record is created and linked with ABA. So they can essentially use any already existing ABDM compatible HMIS, or their existing vendor can also be asked to make themselves compatible with ABDM. Right? For a tech company, yeah, for a tech company, this is how the process looks like. So first step, you need to send request to access the sandbox APIs. You get access to sandbox APIs after the SCC approval. You integrate with the sandbox APIs. You do the functional testing and pass the certification. So the moment you integrate with all the wrapper APIs, it ensures that all the test cases are successfully taken care of as well. The application security assessment needs to be done separately. There needs to be an HPC demo where the committee essentially sees your entire application and asks any question, and post that you can essentially go live. So the first two steps need to be done independently on the sandbox.abdm.gov.in website, and post that, like step 3 and 4 is where the wrapper helps you cut down your time of integration. 5 and 6 need to be done independently again. So just trying to summarize what in ABDM is applicable for any entity. From an HMIS application perspective, they have to do M1, M2, M3. Locker may not be applicable. Integrated programs also may not be applicable. HPR and HFR also needs to be registered because they are the ones doing the health facility registration. From an LMIS perspective, similarly, M1 and M2 are applicable, and HFR also needs to be registered. For a PHR application perspective, M1, M2, M3, the equivalent of M1, M2, M3, which is P1, P2, P3 needs to be done, and they also need to integrate a Docker workflow. For a public health application perspective, again similar. For a teleconsult application perspective, teleconsult is nothing but a replication of the HMIS, and they also need to do the HPR registration as well. So what are the various milestones? So from what M1 essentially M1/P1 essentially means that you should be able to create an ABA, verify an ABA, and do scan and share of patient profile. M2 or P2 essentially means that you can link health records as a facility or health locker, and data transfer needs to be done if an HIV application is requesting access for the data. So the reason it is a two-step process here is the first step is just telling ABDM that the health record is linked. The data still is stored in the facility or the health locker. Whenever any HIU application is asking for the data, then the data needs to be shared. This is where the file conversion piece essentially comes in. M3 or P3 essentially means that you raise and manage consent requests and show data when received. So if I'm building a health information user application, for example, a PHR app, I request access to the data from the healthcare facility, and when the data is received, if it depending on whether it is PDF or structured format, I need to show the data or render the data to the user accordingly. P4 is managing subscriptions and user consents, changing PIN, etc. M4 is essentially ability to create HPR and HFR for facilities and facility admin slash doctors, respectively. So this is what the different milestones of ABDM essentially talk about and what it entails. So where can the wrapper help? Right now, M1 is not available. The community can build it as a UI widget, open to contribution from people. All HIP functionalities can be replicated in empty. Mapper, the first version of Fire Mapper is also available. All HIU functionalities, which is a part of M3, can also be replicated with a mock UI also available if needed, or you can build your own custom UI. And the Fire Mapper is also available for rendering data in a native application today. From a PHR perspective, that still needs to be worked done on that. P4 is currently not available where the community can contribute, and M4 is also not available. And like all of us at here are willing to help you provide access to the right information so that the community can build it from there. So yeah, that is what we had in terms of presentation. Happy to take any questions.